Hello, everyone, and thank you for stopping by to my channel. Now, as the title suggests, I'm going to be doing a recap of WWE SummerSlam 2021, with a main focus being on what happened last night with Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch. Now, I really want to get quickly into this video, so just a quick bit of housekeeping. If you like my videos, I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so to begin with, here is a rundown of the matches that occurred at SummerSlam and the results of each of the matches. We had Big E defeating Baron Corbin via pinfall, RK Bro defeating AJ Styles and Omos to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions, Alexa Bliss defeating Eva Marie via pinfall, Damian Priest defeating Sheamus via pinfall to become the new United States champion. We had the Usos beating the Mysterios via pinfall to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. We had Becky Lynch defeating Bianca Belair via pinfall to become the new Women's SmackDown Champion. Drew McIntyre defeating Jinder Mahal via pinfall. Charlotte Flair defeating Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley to become the new Raw Women's Champion. Edge defeating Seth Rollins via submission. Bobby Lashley defeating Goldberg via referee stoppage to retain the title. And Roman Reigns defeating John Cena via pinfall to retain the title. And of course, after that match, we had the return of Brock Lesnar, and it looks like right now, looks like they're setting us up for potential Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns match, either at Extreme Rules or more likely at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. All right, so before I continue, I just wanted to highlight a couple of the matches that I found really entertaining on SummerSlam, and I think to me, easily the best match of the night was Edge versus Seth Rollins. These two men had such fantastic chemistry, and to me, just the genuine, just back and forth in match where, of course, you had Seth continuously trying to get the stomp going for him. You had Edge hit the spear. I mean, this to me was just. I mean, to me, I now see why people consider this a dream match. Both these men were phenomenal, and for me, I just thought to myself, like, if WWE could put on more matches like this, I would be a full time watcher. But it is what it is. I think that WWE made the right decision allowing Edge to win. Usually, I'm a little back and forth about whether I like when some of the older superstars get over on the younger ones, but I think in this situation, it was the right decision, and I don't think that a loss hurt Seth Rollins at all. I think that he will still be considered a main eventer, and when he is eventually put back in the WWE Championship card again, this loss will not hurt him in the least. To me, the second best match of the night, John Cena Roman Reigns. I've said this before, but to me, Roman Reigns as a tribal chief is just to me right now. To me, he's just a phenomenal character. To me, like he is just in such a good place that for me, I think that there are very few wrestlers that can honestly touch him, and I think that again, I said this before, but John Cena, he and Roman Reigns, I think that this match very much elevated Roman Reigns something new heights because to me, like, just the way that he conducted himself throughout the match, sort of the cockiness, the swagger, all of it to me was just great. I mean, again, this match did not chop Edge and Seth Rollins, but I just absolutely loved this match. I thought the two of them looked great coming out. I thought the two of them had a fantastic match. You saw John Cena hit three attitude adjustments. You had Roman Reigns essentially hit John Cena, I believe, was about five Superman punches. I mean, I think the two of them just put on an excellent match, and I see, and again, like, if not for Seth Rollins and Edge, I think this was easily to me just a fantastic segment. And again, Roman Reigns winning. I mean, what can you say? This was the right call without a doubt. Because again, like, John Cena, he's not gonna be there full time, so Roman Reigns winning, absolute right decision, and just to me, just a fantastic match. And I can see why WWE brought in Brock Lesnar, because I think that right now, again, Roman Reigns, it's just I just don't think anyone on the current roster, either within Raw or in SmackDown, can really touch him. I mean, like, maybe doing a couple segments with Finn Balor, but again, I think that right now, Roman Reigns, he's just on top of the world. Um, and probably another match I want to highlight was Bobby Lashley and Goldberg. And I've said it before, but I genuinely feel bad for Bobby Lashley. I mean, to me, like, this is a bit like Roman Reigns on SmackDown, but for me, like, the way that the roster on Raw is constructed, I just don't really see who at the end of the day is supposed to be Bobby's equal. And I think WWE probably saw it too, which is why they brought back Goldberg. But for me, like, Goldberg at the end of the day, this man, again, he's over 50 years old, and the notion that you want me to believe that somehow he can compete with Bobby Lashley when he's essentially at his apex, to me, to me, it's just laughable. It's just patently ridiculous. Sean Ross Sapp at Five.com, made this comment about how essentially, ha ha ha, Bobby Lashley is just systematically destroyed a 50-year-old man's knee, beat him with a chair repeatedly, and put his son out, and the audience loves him for it. And for me, when I saw his tweet, I was in full agreement because, frankly speaking, I'm still pissed at Goldberg for essentially beating the Fiend back at a crown jewel. I mean, again, the notion that somehow W thinks even for a second, and I mean even for a second, that we as an audience give a crap about Goldberg and this sort of nostalgia short, to me is just, oh my god, to me it just borders on the, I don't know, insanity, maybe even the stupid. Like, when I saw Goldberg essentially to start to, or to say, when I saw Bobby Lashley, uh, when he was about to short Goldberg, you better believe I was one of the people who was cheering because I kept thinking to myself, get this man out of the WWE. The fact that he is anywhere, and I mean anywhere near the WWE title, to me is just laughable. Get him out of WWE, and just please stop with this. Just stop with this farce. But of course, with the way the match ended, we're essentially sort of like, oh, Goldberg, his knee. I mean, I mean, it looks like he'll get a rematch, and I just keep thinking, I swear to God. But I mean, again, like I said before, I mean, Bobby Lashley, if this video goes back to him, I mean, again, I just wish him the best because right now, he needs to be in competition. I mean, I actually was kind of hoping that Brock Lesnar was going to be transferred Raw because I think that for me, I would argue that Bobby Lashley, he needs some real competition, and Goldberg is just not it. All right, so now on to the Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch situation. I initially held off on making this video because I wanted to see if I could figure out more information about what happened with Sasha Banks. And I was looking at on PW Insider from Mike Johnson, and from everything that I've seen is that the Banks situation, according to them, is not to believe an injury issue. And for those of you who are not familiar, that at the start of this week, because Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair they missed the house show, there ended up being a couple rumors about essentially, oh, they may not be able to compete because of potentially some unforeseen occurrences. But again, according to this article, again, just out last night, the two of them were cleared to compete. So the notion that somehow Banks would not be there is kind of weird because again, like, this is what they're saying, that she was cleared to perform at SummerSlam, and unless something complete unforeseen happened, um again, like, she was scheduled to be there. So the fact that she wasn't, to me, it just it's very weird, because I know people were saying that, oh, is it COVID related? And that's why I really thought going back to here, that it's not an injury issue, because when they say injury, like, I'm including COVID in sort of like that kind of context. So at least for right now, like, we don't know why Sasha Banks missed the pay per view, and hopefully within the next day or two, or maybe next week, I should say, where we'll get some more information, because right now it just seems like, it just seems like, it's still big of a mystery. Um, but I first want to say that if WWE did not, or say, if WWE knew that Sasha Banks was not going to compete, and from everything that I've read, is that apparently, um, at least what I saw from, like, last night, there were a couple of YouTube videos made early in the day, and a couple of reports made early in the day about how, again, Sasha Banks was not at, was essentially, she was not on SmackDown on Friday night, and she was not in Las Vegas on Saturday night for SummerSlam. And the one thing I want to say is that if WWE knew that, this match was not going to happen, and the fact that they still advertised it, I think shows, at least in my opinion, how unprofessional WWE truly is. I mean, I'm serious. I think that this company is incredibly, um, again, like, to me, it's incredibly just sort of like small-minded, because, I think about the fact that essentially WWE gets covered by ESPN, Bleacher Report, CBS Sports. Essentially, we're essentially talking about that Peacock bought this network for, I'm assuming, like, a couple, maybe $1 billion or so dollars. They have a major contract with Fox, a major contract with USA Network, which is which is of course owned by, NBC, and of course owned by Comcast. And the notion that somehow they do this game of false advertising, it's just, to me, the epitome of just like, it's crap. And I keep thinking to myself, sort of like, if WWE ever wants to see the equivalent of NFL, the NBA, MLB, they have to stop doing nonsense like this, because I keep thinking to myself, like, if this was the NBA and LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Steph Curry can't play, the NBA has the courtesy to tell us, oh, hey guys, these guys are not competing tonight, because you consider, I believe it was like maybe, 2 or 3 years ago, where essentially you had, like, the star players sitting out on sort of the primetime games, and you better believe that the NBA, they got an earful from the sponsors saying that, listen, if these guys are not competing, you better tell us up front so we can adjust our schedule. And to me, again, like, you consider that even in this year's Super Bowl, there was questions about whether Patrick Mahomes was going to play, because, of course, I believe he got injured. Um, Injured, I believe, and was in the AFC Championship game. And you better believe, essentially, there was so much talk about, essentially, is he playing? Is he playing? And then when it was cleared, again, like, they let us know up front. But WWE, they make it sound as though somehow they're just like, a middly little company. Oh, well, we don't really know. No. Be responsible. Act like a company that actually is worth $1 billion, instead of like some crappy mom and pop stop. But, so to me, I mean, that's just one thing of my biggest issue with just this entire, situation. Um, the second ultimately has to deal with, and you guys probably saw in the thumbnail again. Like, I'm wondering, did Bianca Belair give the Kofi Kingston treatment? Because for me, like, I look at the situation that happened with Karrion Cross, a couple weeks ago, and I think this ties into it when I talk about Kofi Kingston. This idea that essentially sort of like, you have someone who's a dominant champion, but then all of a sudden you have him or her face somebody, and they just lose, um, and they just lose so randomly that they just lose the point. They just lose. You makes you wonder, like, what are you guys doing? And to me, again, this goes back to, again, like, what happened in 2019, where Kofi Kingston, he's able to win a WrestleMania, and then, of course, faces Brock Lesnar, and he just gets smashed. And I think that to me, like, it's this way where I think that why WWE thinks that somehow this serves any purpose is just their explanations are honestly just laughable. And and the reason I bring Kofi Kingston in and the reason I think about Kofi Kingston in particular is because people keep saying, "Oh well, Bianca, she'll be fine. She'll be able to get a feud with Becky Lynch." But I keep thinking to myself, sort of like, what happened to Kofi after essentially he got annihilated by Brock Lesnar is that he did not have another WWE championship until I believe this year against Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley promptly destroyed him. So for me, like, again, like, I need someone to explain to me how. So I need someone to tell me that is that what you're saying? That Becky Lynch and Bianca they'll have their little feud, but at the end of the day, sort of like, at the end of the day, it's essentially worthless because we all know Bianca isn't gonna win. And and for me, like, I think what it speaks to is just honestly sort of the small mindedness of WWE. You had Becky Lynch beat Bianca Belair in 26 seconds to be the new women's champion. Now, mind you, this is the same Bianca Belair who was in this year's Royal Rumble and went 57 minutes. And some of you throw that away so you can give Becky Lynch the championship. Now, I want to be clear that as I continue this video, this is not a Becky Lynch hate video because again, I don't have anything against Becky Lynch, but it's just that to me it's sort of like again like again Bianca Belair was in the Royal for 57 minutes. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, they were the two women to win the best WWE moment at the ESPYS. But the fact that essentially again you throw that away so you can give us a 26-second squash match where Becky Lynch, who has not been to WWE for what almost 13 months, can essentially win back like that. I mean, it just screams short-sightedness, I think I think one of the reasons why I think one of the reasons why essentially I'm so sort of mad at this segment is just because like people are saying that, oh well, Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch will have a great feud and essentially it'll elevate Becky. And for me, like, I hear them and I keep thinking that is such incredible nonsense because I decided to like give a list of like really of the upcoming WWE pay per views, and I want someone to tell me where they see Bianca Belair essentially winning back the championship. Because I would argue that Bianca Belair, she needs a championship, unlike Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, at the end of the day, is already a star. She's in many ways a household name. But Bianca Belair, she needs that championship to give her credibility. Or should I say, not give her credibility, but she needs it to elevate herself so that way she can be sort of in that category, sort of the fourth horseman with Sasha Banks, Bailey, Charlotte, and Becky. And for me, like I think that having her essentially get squashed, it does such disservice to not only her but also just the rest of the SmackDown Women's roster. Because if we're being honest, I mean, if Bianca gets squashed, what is Carmella beating her? Is Selena Vega? Is Natalia? I mean, come on. I mean, you had Bianca Belair have two matches in a row on SmackDown on Friday, and since she beats both women, but essentially like, oh wait, let's turn around and essentially have Bianca lose in under 30 seconds. And again, like this is my question. That's essentially sort of like, if Bianca Belair and Becky have a feud at Extreme Rules, is she winning then? No. Crown Jewel's out of the picture because I believe even at this point, Saudi Arabia, the only women's match we've seen has been Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks, but I'm not sure if that's changing. But at least for right now, I haven't heard anything. Survivor Series, it's usually champion versus champion, so that means essentially it will be probably Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair at this point. So again, Becky's not dropping the title then. TLC, I don't think so. Royal there's a pay per view scheduled on January 1st. Right now, it does not have a name, but Does anyone see Becky Lynch losing at just this kind of no name match, or especially this no name pay per view? Probably not. So now we go up to Royal Rumble, January  31st, and for me, like, yeah, there's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, she could lose there, but I still don't think so. So now we're talking about April 3rd, 2022, which is WrestleMania. That is the one. That is probably the only scenario where I can realistically see Becky Lynch losing, because we're talking about, again, Becky Lynch has been off the program for almost, again, almost for more than 12 months. I don't see her losing that title unless we're talking about big four pay per view. And as it stands right now, the only one left this year is Survivor Series, and again, that's champion versus champion, which means the next time Becky Lynch is even likely to lose the title would be Royal Rumble. And I would say I don't think it's then. It's probably WrestleMania. That means essentially that you again took the title off Bianca Belair in the span of 30 seconds so you could give Becky Lynch a title reign that she does not need. Again, Becky Lynch does not need this title to be over. She already is. I mean, God, it is just again like I mean, I think the reason I'm so mad is just because to me the WWE at the end of the day it plays favorites. It's simple as that. I mean, again, like I I didn't want to like make big hay about the fact that Charlotte Flair again, like last night again, she won her 12th championship. Charlotte Flair has been on the main roster 5 years now. She has 5 championships. She's one of the favorites. Roman Reigns. I mean, I know I said like I love his character right now, but I know that for many years he was being shoved down our throats because again, he's one of WWE's favorites. And same thing, Becky Lynch. She's now a WWE favorite, and I think that there's something to be said where essentially at the end it's sort of like you have to stop giving title reigns to your favorites, and you have to stop giving title reigns to people who don't need them to be elevated. Um, I don't know. I mean, right now, like I just feel incredibly bad for Bianca Belair because I think that she just got screwed last night. I do not believe for a second she deserved that. And again, I know that. And again, this is not a Becky Lynch hate video, but for me, like again, like she should not have the belt right now. And Sasha Banks, again, I mean, right now, like I just really, I mean, again, I hope that she's okay. Again, like everything that I've read, I don't have any indications that it's an injury related. I hope that it's not potentially a death in the family. I hope that's nothing like that. Again, I really hope she's okay because for right now, I think that to me like this entire situation, it left an incredibly bad taste in my life, and I think that again, I think that WWE showed their unprofessionalism last night with knowing that essentially this match was not happening and still advertising it and then just thinking that, oh, well, Lynch was with Becky Lynch. I mean, like, Becky Lynch has not solved everything. She's not solved everything. And if anything, I would argue that essentially sort of like her squashing Bianca just honestly made it worse. So, that's the end of the video, guys. Again, if you enjoyed my commentary, I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. And, again, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.